Hi, I'm Scott Hanselman. It's another episode of Azure Friday. I'm here with Narayan Annamalai, and we're talking about virtual networks, but specifically something called vNet peering.
Yeah, you said it right. It is vNet peering.
So what does that mean, peering?
We are trying to connect to virtual networks
using
our backbone infrastructure. So otherwise, VNets are basically isolations for customers, their own networks.
This is what they call software-defined networking, where you draw a line around, and this is a truly isolated network, but it's done with software.
Yes, all software. Just like how you have your networks on premises, your IT networks, when you come to the cloud, you can create the same just by making a few API calls. And we give you a network all for yourself. You bring the IP space that you want. You put the settings that you want. You pretty much own this. The way to think about this is like the public cloud is a shared infrastructure. We create a logical isolation from that, and then give it to you in a box. Now, once you have this network, you can deploy your compute virtual machines, your services, all to this vNet. They're naturally secluded and protected. Others can't really get to this. They can get to this only through a publicly exposed endpoint if you want to. Or you can then connect this vNet to your on-premises through various hybrid technologies that we offer them. So this is really the way for them to get started in the cloud, is create your own network, then drop your services inside that.
This seems like a really important feature that I think a lot of people don't understand, because they think that if they really want their network to be private and personal, they're going to have to make a phone call and someone's going to pull cable. But these software-defined networks, they're really isolated, truly.
Yeah, truly isolated. And the important point that you're hitting on the nail is like, it's so easy to make this set up and manage as well. It's not just about setup. Once you have this, you can make a few API calls to put an ACL. Let's say you just don't want to allow
an access control list.
Exactly. The access control list to the entire virtual network. There you go. Just one API call within seconds, that is effective. If you want to route packets differently, for example, you don't want your machines in the vNet to talk to internet directly, that's another ACL call. But if you want this traffic to go through a device which snoops the traffic and make sure that it's safe to send out internet, you can then set a route like that, saying that don't go to internet straight, make a hop here. After the processing, then you can go to the internet. Then you can set routes on this vNet. So pretty much all the networking concepts can be realized in this virtual network. So it is pretty important, like I said.
It's a revolution in networking. And you can have a point-to-site VPN where I can have my computer talk to that box. But I can also do site-to-site. Can I connect networks to networks as well?
Yeah. So site-to-site really comes together or is required when you have on-premises and your virtual network on the cloud. So you don't want all of your users on-prem to download a VPN client and connect back. The easier way is to have a hardware device, like in one of the Cisco Juniper devices there, and then that can connect to a gateway that Azure provides, and through secure IPsec tunneling, they can connect. This goes through public internet, but there are entities on both ends that makes it secure with IPsec, basically, encryption. The better way is if you want a fast, high-speed connection. I don't want to go through public internet. We have ExpressRoute. Most people listening to this would have heard about this. ExpressRoute is a private way to connect your on-premises to Microsoft's backbone network.
So I like to think about it really like, if this is my company, we're here in my company, I have another room on the other side of that wall that you can't see. That's the Azure cloud, and it's an infinite room with all these computers, but they can be in my subnet.
Exactly. So you have an isolation on this infinite room, and you can run a wire underneath. Nobody sees. That's private ExpressRoute. Or you can run a wire that everybody sees, but with security on it. That's site-to-site VPN.
So then where does peering fit in?
So vNet peering is on this infinite room that you said, You may have multiple subnets or multiple VNets, Either you yourself can have multiple VNets, or let's say you're a bigger enterprise, you have a lot of departments, You want to have each of your departments create their own little isolation, their own virtual network. And people do this for many different reasons, because it's a separate management control, and it's a separate billing entity and all that. So they give you different subscriptions, and you have your own VNet. So it's easy for managing, And we have seen that a lot of enterprises do that. They do have multiple VNets. They all belong to the same company, but different subscriptions, different departments have each one. Now, many times though, they do want to talk to each other though. The services, they could have shared services.
The database department and the web development department, they need to talk to each other.
And many times they have shared services that they want to share, And then they really they don't want to connect through public internet or other means, because it's my company.
Well, you don't want to go outside your company just to go back into the person who sits next to you.
So they naturally have a need to connect VNets together. That's
I get it now.
Yeah, and before peering, what we had was we told them, if you want to connect VNets together, put the gateway on each VNet and then do a tunneling and then connect it. It works fine, right?
Yeah.
But gateways were not designed for VNet connectivity. They were designed really to bring on-premises onto to Azure connection. So it was not a little bit not natural to use gateways for just VNet to VNet connection.
It worked,
but
it wasn't natural.
Exactly. Now peering. Now enter peering. Now what we're saying is, just come to us and tell us that you want to peer these networks because it's yours. Or an authorized user on each of the networks says, I want to peer them. We'll do some checks, make sure that there is no IP overlap and whatnot. There is connectivity and everything's good. We'll say you're peered now. Then you just connect directly. So VMs on the left-hand side now can talk straight to the VMs on the other side. And this line over here, the white line that's called peer, it's basically go through our backbone network. So this is purely secure. It's not going through any public route outside.
So in this picture here, the gateway is connected as well. This is an optional way, but this isn't required.
Right. Yeah, good point. So gateway, so once you have two VNets paired like this, right? I talked about shared services. Think of gateway that connects back to your on-premises shared service. You don't want to drop gateways in all your VNets for cost savings. Or if you really want to only manage and maintain a gateway only in one VNet, drop it here and you enable transit through gateway from here, saying that I want to use this remote gateway. It's an option. Once you do the peering, and I'll show you in the portal, you can say, I want to use this gateway remotely. The owner of this VNet should allow that. I mean, you just can use the resource if he doesn't allow it. If he allows it, now this guy, to go to the on-prem, can go through this gateway. He doesn't need to have a gateway on his own over here.
All right. So what does this look like in the portal when we want to manage this?
Yeah, so you want to show it?
Yeah, let's see.
I'll show it. Yeah, let's go to portal. Okay, so just look at this VNets 1, 2, 3. I just created them just for demo purposes. When I go into this VNet 1, I mean, this is natural. You'll usually see this.
Sure.
What is connected. So I have like 4 VMs running there.
Okay.
You see that this is a 10.00/16 VNet. That's outer space. And you have VNets. You have VMs 4, 5, 6, and 7 sitting there.
Okay.
This is a new thing. It's called peerings.
All right.
So now we say that once you click peerings, it will show you existing peerings. I have already a peering that I've established connected.
Okay, so we're looking at one.
Yeah.
You're peered to two, but disabled the gateway transit.
Yes. I didn't want gateway transit for this. Actually, I don't have gateways in any of the VNets for this purpose. But I can have a gateway and say transit enabled, right? If you really want to actually peer a VNet, I'll show you the experience and what you can pick here. So you can say add. I want to now peer to a different VNet, right? Yeah, you give it a name. And this is another very useful classic peer. Let me call it classic peer. The reason I call that is I can peer this VNet now to a classic VNet. So this is an ARM VNet.
Oh, so this is a bridge where I have people in the department that have been doing virtual networks for a long time.
Yes.
I've got people who are on ARM, and I can bridge them now.
Yes.
That's a nice feature.
Yeah.
That almost makes the whole thing worthwhile.
Yeah. So, and most people already have classic deployments, right?
Of
Because
course
they've been having it for years, so they have it. And this is a great way to connect those networks now, right? So from the ARM VNet, I can say, I want to connect to my classic VNet, right? Let me see if I have any classic VNet here, right? So I'm going to go look. So in this region, I do have a classic VNet. If you remember affinity groups and all that, I named the VNet to, to resemble that. So I can just select that, right? And I have a few other options here, which is allow forwarded traffic or gateway transit or remote gateways, right?
Right, and you've, of course, as within the portal, you've got help on every one of these if you want to understand what's going on.
Explaining what it is.
Explaining exactly the
details. And the gateway transit, I'll get to that later, but that's a very useful way as well. The forwarded traffic, and then I can say, okay. That's all I have to really say. And then it's working on the background to actually connect my VNets.
And these take just kind of seconds,
Seconds. Like within yeah, look at that. Connected.
It's done.
Classic peer. Now, if I have a VM over there, I can talk direct.
Really? It's picked up and the routing is happening?
Everything is happening. So the few seconds that we spent were to set the routes and the ACLs and whatnot.
And years ago, how would we do this?
Yeah, so you'll have to deploy a gateway in, that is years ago, yes. Even like a few months ago or before
still
peering,
need a gateway.
You had to deploy a gateway here, deploy a gateway there, set your secrets right, and then make sure the handshake happens. Then you can talk to VMs. But now you can do this within seconds in Portal. And I'm saving the best for the last, which is the demo. So,
blow me away.
Let me go into this VNet 1.
Okay.
As I show, let me just, not the peering, but let me just go into the VNet. All right. So VNet 1 has the...
has the 4 VMs.
4 VMs. I'm going to go into this VM, VM1. I already logged into that. I'll show you that it's 10.0.0.6.
I see. So you're actually remoted into that VM.
I remoted into the VM right now. So this belongs to VNet 1. So let me do ipconfig here so that you see that 10.0.0.6.
Yep.
Okay. Now let us go back and let me pick up the VNet 2 now. Right.
Okay.
This is the VNet I'm paired with, right? I showed you before. And I'm going to go into this VNet. So VM1, VNet 2.
Right, and that's in a 192.
It's a 192.0.0.6. Completely different address space. You can see that this is a different VNet. It belongs to 192. So here you go. So this is this VNet.
Okay.
Let's do ipconfig there just to make sure.
Yep.
You see that? Okay. Now I want to ping. Let's see if ping works, right? I'm going to ping 10.0.0.6. That's the other guy. Yep, I can ping him.
Got it, because they're appeared.
Works, they appeared. Now even better, let me run, an NTTCP is a tool to measure performance or throughput, right? So I'm going to run that. So I'm going to run this as a receiver and that guy is a sender.
Right.
So all I'm doing here, you can look up NTTCP, it's available in the internet. I'm saying I'm going to run receiver mode and here is my IP address, 192.0.0.6. And I just mentioned, receive buffer and all that.
Yep.
So I'm going to start this, and I'm going to go back and start my sender.
That's a classic tool. I'm impressed that you pulled NT, TTCP.
It has been there for a long time. Here I'm just doing a sender. You can see I'm sending it to 192.0.0.6.
Right.
And I fire it up. It will take a few seconds. I think 30 seconds. It's pushing data. It's trying to push as much as possible. I'm using all the 8 cores. This is basically a DS4 machine. I should mention that. It has 8 cores.
Okay.
Not the most performant that we have. We have bigger.
It's still pretty big.
Yeah, it's decent, yeah. And I'm using all the 8 cores. I'm running like parallel threads and pushing as much as I can.
If you opened up the task manager, would you see it in the networking?
Yep, we can do that.
This is like load testing. Like I load test web apps. You're load testing the network.
That is right. Actually, the test just completed. We can run another one if you want. But the throughput that you see here is 353 megabytes per second, right?
Megabytes a second.
Megabytes. Do the math. That's close to 3 gigs.
3 gigs.
Close to 3 gigs. 3 Gbps. So this is what you get between VMs in 2 different VNets.
3 gigabits.
3 Gbps.
So bandwidth is not a problem.
Not a problem. So and latency is not a problem because you probably saw the latency, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 192.0.0.6.
It really is a subnet.
It is milliseconds, 1 millisecond.
Yeah,
Less than 1 millisecond.
Sub 1.
Yep.
Yeah,
You're almost like a single network now.
So this is in preview, or people can use this today?
It's in public preview, so anyone can use it. They can go to Portal, and if they don't have it registered on their subscription, Portal actually gives you an easy one-click button that will register this feature for them. And people can use it. It's all available in Portal. And
Very cool.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff happening in the world of software-defined networking. We're talking about VNet peering here on Azure Friday.